got the key! I got the key! I got the key! I got the key! Greetings Rommies and welcome to Rom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and to a regular review of sims, sim racing games and whatever could interest you. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. Yeah, we all know the thing with a closed beta key is mostly marketing, and we at Rom are not adverse to paying money for a good beta like we did with Automobilista 2. But this is a new sim, and even if we're not sure where they are going with it, as we discussed in our podcast, see the link up there, it's still fun to take a look at it and let you know what we think. Especially for free, especially if we're trying to find out if it adds to our and in the future your enjoyment. At the moment you can drive 4 cars, the Mercedes-AMG GT3 2020, the BMW M4 GT3, the Porsche 911 GT3 992 and the Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2 on 4 tracks, Monza, Spa, Hockenheim and Nürburgring. So far, so standard. What felt surprisingly good for a closed beta is the force feedback, which was fine-tuned and very granular on the Mercedes on Hockenheim and the Porsche at Monza, less so with the other 2 cars and tracks. We suppose this is an artifact of Rennsport still being in closed beta. Some tracks and cars still need work. The good quality of the force feedback may also have had to do with a preset already being present in the SimuCube software, which at least for this version felt quite well and well put, not needing any adjustments from me. While on Hockenheim I reached about 90 to 100 FPS on a 2560 x 1080 monitor, in Spa I was lucky if I reached 90 FPS down to 70 FPS max on Nürburgring, which clearly sounds as if NURBS still needs some polish. Mind you, these numbers are all measured with the graphics cranked up to 11 on a water-cooled 3080 Ti, because if I'm testing, I'm trying to find out where the software has its limits, right? Oh, and if I understood it correctly, Rennsport is using the X12, which may be one of the reasons it runs so smoothly. And of course, with VR not being supported yet, we'll have to see where those numbers land on the most virtual of all realities, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. While we're speaking about graphics, I liked that the tracks looked dirty and used as it should be, in my opinion. It adds to a realistic atmosphere. I had to input all key bindings and everything by myself, as there is no preset for SimuCube or Fanatec pedals. I'll chalk it up to this being a beta, as I will the look and feel of the buttons and overall the user interface, which is functional but looks as if I was the graphics designer for this. I admit the UI is less important than having the sim working smoothly, which it does with no hitches. I had no hiccups whatsoever with Rennsport, not to speak of hang-ups or similar. It was all smooth sailing with regards to the software working. Speaking of inputting the controls, the calibrations of pedals and wheel is directly on the same page where you do the key binding, so you can test your inputs then and there, which is something we are thankful for. I don't remember who of my fellow YouTubers protested a while ago about the Automobilista 2 cars bouncing around, but whoever it was, mate, good luck with Rennsport. To be precise, as in Automobilista 2, the bouncing is realistic and fits the tracks, the force feedback being so fine it transmitted every small imperfection of the track and of course the big imperfections too. As it should be. Tracks are not made of polished marble, and the older the tarmac of a track, the higher the probability to encounter big or small imperfections. Add to that racing cars are no Citroën limousine with pneumatic suspension, but very tightly wound cars with hard suspension, and you get bouncing. In Automobilista 2 as well as in Rennsport. Of all tracks, Spa was the one that felt uncannily smooth. Maybe Spa needs more polish in the realism department. It was also unrealistic that you can't overdrive or overbrake the cars. Apart from them having traction control and ABS, it was difficult to find out the limits of the car, as in that regards the point where the car does not have grip anymore is difficult to find out. Another one I'll add to the "it's just the beta" list, but which I will keep an eye on for the next versions and hope it gets better. The force feedback does not communicate these limits and extremes well yet. If you would like to support our channel, which we sure wish you would and can afford it, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/romrom. Amongst other perks, becoming a patron will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing, and will be able to take part in our decisions, so a big thank you to our patrons and members. If you come here often, please consider subscribing. I tripped over replays as the setting is behind options, gameplay, replays, and is deactivated as standard and is only a binary activated deactivated setting. Furthermore, I don't know if it's only races that get recorded or also practice or what. And as you can see in the images, replays flicker unbearably. But it's early days for the software anyway, and I very much got the feeling that developers' work was concentrated on getting the cars to drive right, with everything else a second thought, a strategy I agree with. There's also other parts where the sim needs work. It seems you can develop your own liveries, but the interface left me quite baffled. As I am a graphics misfit anyway, I left the sub-menu quickly to its own devices. It was interesting to see that Rennsport uses the app as a two-factor authentication device, so you can log into your account wherever you are, which is something that you will especially do if you have an esports team that moves around, which reminds me, I have yet to test the multiplayer. Hey, a day only has so many hours, you know. With regards to sound, I get the feeling that this is where the biggest amount of work is still in front of the team. It definitely needs work in all cars, but less in the Porsche than, say, in the BMW. Overall, the sim in its closed beta state is in a much better place than Assetto Corsa Competizione was at the beginning and for a long while. It still needs work, but for a closed beta it gave me a good impression. It's better than most closed or open betas I've seen. Herzlichen Glückwunsch to the team in Munich.